Legit hustle. Legit hustle. Go get him, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, it's like take number 4 or some shit like
Go
that.
get him, Uncle Mike.
Man, I'm just finna spit this shit. Try to keep in mind where I'm supposed to stop. It's gonna come out how it come out, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ever move such a pace, you change your time, space, and place. Disappear without a trace, reappear to show your face. Only time to time, cause the bottom line, you only got the time to make. Foot on the gas, don't touch the brake. Fuck if I crash, fate is fate. Most times blessings, that's your grace. Lots at stake, watch for mistakes. Treat obstacles like they steak. Heavyweight, then clean your plate. Even if you ate already, grown man shit gets heavy. War in the streets is really up, so lock and load and aim steady. You a hustler, time to prove it. You a gangster, who you move with. Better keep an extra toolkit. Pray to God to never use it. Just a clue for all the clues. Playing dumb, but don't be stupid. Like Steph Curry off the dribble. I don't even gotta look when I shoot it. This a warning for the busters and an anthem for the hustlers. Next time you fold your bundles, just remember, hustle told you. Keep your drip right, yeah, that's Nova. Keep your coat as cold, that's polar. Put that hustle over your shoulder. Carry that bitch till it's over. Yeah. It's legit hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers only. If you out here grinding, pushing, getting it on your own, trying to build something for yourself and your family, I'm talking to you. Yeah. So what you took an L? Everybody fall down sometimes, man. Get up, shake that shit off. Keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You a hustler. If he gave up, it wasn't me. Not in a hustler's pedigree. I knew the path that I had chosen wasn't free, nor should it be. A real leader's gonna stand up, give his friends a helping hand up. If he get one, then he got one. From the Lambo to the Phantom, only if it's just legit. All 366, he only swing for the fence. Legit hustlers never miss. Belt the ass, I got a list. Rub me wrong, you get your itch. Pop out, I hope you got a wish. Like the genie in this bitch. Hustlers and suck, never mix. Real is real, so don't forget. That is that and this is this. On the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? You dig? Yeah. That is that and this is this. It's on the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? Yeah, like I said, man, this legit hustle. Tales of a Hustler 3. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers, man. The go-getters. You know, people out there getting it on their own. Yeah. If that's you, welcome. Tales of a Hustler 3. Here's your homie, legit hustle. Yeah, man. Speaking for the hustlers, man. No matter where you came from, you can be from the streets, you be Ivy League, you can get stockbroker, man. You can be just a regular dude, man, selling fruit on the corner. I don't care, man. If you a hustler, you know you a hustler. It's in you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you. Yeah. I've worked too hard to stop now. But it seems like every time I turn around, it's somebody hating. I need to ride. Yo, yeah.
Rest in peace, nigga.
Yo, man, this one goes out to everybody out there getting it on it. You know what I'm saying? However you getting paid, how you paying your bills, hopefully it's legit. You know what I'm saying? But even if it ain't, do the best you can, you know what I'm saying? And get it on your own. Yeah, West Coast, slow motion. Waking up the morning views of the ocean, freshen up your swag, roll up your neck back, 40 on your hip, dip to the west side. Between the trees and the breeze is where you reside. You let the 6-4 dip slow side to side. The good life, no longer stressing on that hood stripe. Your kids blessed, you can't flex, they doing all right. On top of that, today you rhyme with your lady. Yep, that's your baby. Play with her, they must be crazy. Had the hood going crazy when them shop doors open. Time cuts in the city, that's what you been promoting. But it's clear to see that every real G is positive to the community. Productivity, that's the slogan. Pushing back on the force is trying to stop what's wrong. they can't hold you back. When the door of opportunity opens up for you like a Cadillac, you ain't having that, you came too far to try and travel back. And plus that's way too whack, so when the plans stay rolling and the dope keep folding while your life unfolding, then you plans go. Never mind the haters, can't make or break you. Where will hustle take you when your faith don't forsake you? Yeah, it feels good when you getting it on your own, pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS or rare when life ends you stones. It feels good when you getting it on your own, pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS or rare when life ends you stones. But don't expect it to be easy breezy, size being cheesy, it's slightly greasy like an Eskimo trying to sell your bro that don't love the pole. His ass still ain't free. The truth is you take the good with the bad. If it's worth it, then on purpose, it ain't easy to be had. But don't let it stop you, unless they pop you. Then you gotta know the wind's already in the bag. It takes thick skin to walk amongst men that don't comprehend the grind that you're living in. Unfortunately, it usually proves to be negativity from friends and your family. But when you focus, you can't get caught slipping. You cool ranch while you living. Fly with eagle, not chickens. And you bound to see between you and me that there's no enemies. And yes, success is the proof. Me, I'm still noodle flowing in the booth. If you need more proof, go and check me mirror, cause it couldn't be clearer that you're bound for the top. So stay on your grind and don't you dare ever stop it. With roadblocks, act like mad cops. That only means you're just a mirror, homie, just watch. Ain't legally silent when you're made of iron. And for winners like you, there's no such thing as trying. It feels good when you're getting it on your own, pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS or bread when life gives you stones. It feels good when you're getting it on your own, pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life gives you stones. And there you have it. You know what I'm saying? This goes out to everybody out there getting it on their own. Like I said, you over there, feel me? With the fade, all the barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, massage parlors, dentist office, you feel me? Soul food restaurants, whatever you do, man. If you work for yourself, it's your anthem right here, man. It's my salute to you. I see you get it on your own. And if you employ other people, you're a real life hero. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Yeah. Keep getting it on your own.
Omni Beats.
Yo, what's up? Greetings, everybody. This is Mike, aka Mr. Legit Hustle. Y'all know me, your homie, your brother from another mother. First and foremost, thank you for checking me out, for being here rocking with me. Could have been anywhere else on the internet, on YouTube, but you're here watching my content, so I just want to thank you. I also want to ask you something. Do you have a dream or goal that you feel driven to pursue? Or maybe you're like me and you're already deep in the pursuit of your dream or whatever that goal is, and you like a little motivation and direction in overcoming the challenges that you face. You know, sometimes we doubt ourselves. Sometimes we get afraid of failing. Or maybe you just need some inspiration from time to time. Well, I want to encourage you to never allow yourself to fall victim to discouragement. When you choose to pursue a goal or a dream in your life, know that you're gonna get met with opposition and challenges. It just comes with the territory. But there's too much at stake for you to quit. And if you're like me, then you've come too far and through too much to ever give up on that dream or that goal. So, I want to invite you to grab one or two or all of my legit motivation presentations. You can watch the videos on my Legit Motivation podcast on my YouTube channel. And if you see one that you like, you can download the actual slide presentation that I developed and used in that video. That way, you can review the information in depth at your own pace. Now, each slide presentation is packed with factual, reputable, and verifiable information from reliable sources, as well as the game I've learned in 46 years on this realm. So head over to my Legit Motivation podcast on YouTube or go to legithustle.com. Presentations are free, but if you'd like to support the channel, then you can donate there as well. Whether you do or don't, the presentations are yours to keep. Plus, you'll get a special bonus offer on all of my products and services when you download your first presentation. So head over to legithustle.com or look for the link in the comment section of the video that you like. Alright? Again, thank you for rocking with me. Enjoy the rest of the show. Peace. Yo, what's up, YouTube? Y'all know what time it is, man. It's your homie, your brother from another mother, Mr. Legit Hustle himself. But y'all can call me Mike. Y'all know me. So, just like that, we bike. You feel me? I had some obstacles moved out the way in my personal life. So, I'm feeling extra good today. But I do want to say something. You know, it's really sad that we live in a world where individuals, because of who you are, or maybe where you come from, or even what you look like, will rather see you in a cage and criminalize you rather than let you be out here and be an inspiration to your people. Now, we know that. That's the reality of life in this world, right? But it's overly sad when the people that treat you that way look just like you. You know what I'm saying? For the last 3 years, I've had my life disrupted and been hindered from providing for my family and all types of other things based on being lied on in a criminal situation. And after 3 years, I finally got that shit taken care of. So I'm free again, man. I'm back here out on these streets, man. You feel me? I'm finna get to moving again. I'm finna be in people's cities. Yeah, we finna really do it the legit hustle way in the real world. You feel me? So I just want to celebrate that moment right quick. I'm not going to get into too many details. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving on to bigger and better things. That shit over with. That's all I wanted. And all I had to do was tell the truth and stand on it. You feel me? So, with that being said, man, we finna get into this topic today. Y'all give me just a second, cut my headphones up a little bit. Alright, there we go. It's a little better. But the topic today is self-care. Loving yourself. Now, this is legit hustle. So, you know, primarily what I say and do, y'all excuse that. What I say and do is primarily for the hustlers, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, the self-employed people, content creators. That's really who I kind of direct my content at. But with legit motivation, I try to make it so that the topics are presented in a way that anybody can benefit from it. And taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves. This is something that everyone needs to pay attention to. Doesn't matter what you do in life, no matter what your class or social status is in life, taking care of yourself, loving yourself is extremely vital in order to just have an enjoyable, somewhat peaceful existence in a world where you not only have your personal flaws and frailties to contend with, but as I mentioned in the outset,
You live in a world where sometimes you're going to have to deal with unwarranted and unnecessary attacks from outside forces and individuals. You know, life is real. Shit get heavy. So loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves is extremely vital just to withstand what comes with life itself, right? So I'm gonna talk about this. This was, and I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was preparing this outline, I almost didn't do this. Because if you watch my content before, if you're familiar with this, I'm very transparent. I speak from the heart, and I share a lot of my personal insights and experiences with the topics that I deal with, right? Loving yourself and taking care of yourself, it was very personal to me. Like working on an outline, I got emotional, and I started not to do this because I didn't want to lose my composure on fucking YouTube. But despite that, I decided, nah, that's exactly why I need to do this topic. Because a lot of times when I do content, or even when I consult with clients, a lot of the things that I share with individuals are still things that I can learn from, or things that I need to remember for myself, right? It's been said that one of the best ways to learn how to do something is to teach other people how to do it. So a lot of times, as content creators, as teachers, as motivators, or whatever we're doing, when we're in that position to guide other people, we have to remember to listen to what it is that we're saying to them, because the message isn't just for them, right? A lot of times the message that we give to others through our content, through music and conversation, whatever, is also intended for us to benefit from. So with that in mind, I decided to go ahead and do this, even though this is a very, very personal topic for me. I was about 40 years old. I'm 46 now. I was about 40 years old when I realized that it was okay to love myself. I spent 40 years of my life thinking that it was wrong to love myself. But when you look up one day and you find yourself in a situation and the people that you normally expect to get that love from ain't there to give it to you, or they withhold it from you, sometimes you realize in those situations, hopefully, that the love that you need, you have to give it to yourself. It's great if we get it from somebody else. It's cool. You know, it feels good to be loved by other people. But honestly, before you can even adequately love another person, you should first learn how to love yourself. Right? But some of us, we never get taught how to love ourselves, or that we should love ourselves, right? So I'm sharing this with you, not just to tell you that you should love yourself, but to remind myself that it's okay to love myself, right? So in this presentation, we're going to discuss 3 main areas that we need to show ourselves love in, that we need to take care of ourselves in. So that if you find yourself in a situation where you're not getting it from the homies, you're not getting it from your family, you're not getting it from your mate, you might not even be getting it from your children, but you need that love, right? Well, you got to give it to yourself. And in these 3 areas, we're going to talk about your spiritual well-being, your mental well-being, as well as your physical well-being. All 3 areas, right? That we need to love ourselves, take care of ourselves in. So let's get it cracking, man. So before I get started, I do want to put this out there, because we're going to touch on things with regard to mental health, emotional stability, and things like that, right? Now, I'm not a medical professional. I can't diagnose you, And I can't give you certain types of advice that would be outside my realm of expertise. But before we get started, I'm going to say that this is for informational purposes only. For us all to do a self-checkup and see if we need to address ourselves more in these areas. But if you find yourself in a situation in any of these areas that you are overwhelmed or that you feel like you can't necessarily get your footing under, you may not know exactly how to proceed forward, then don't hesitate to seek help, professional help if need be. All right, so I made sure I included the National Suicide and Crisis numbers, dial 988, the crisis text line, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. I've used it before. I had to call that suicide line years ago because I was there. You know what I'm saying? So I can't give you any medical advice, but I will say, man, love yourself, take care of yourself, and if you need help with that, it ain't no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? It's wisdom in that. Do what you gotta do. Take care of yourself. Love yourself out here, man. So if it's something that's too heavy for you to deal with on your own in the ways that I'm going over in this presentation, then please, 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 please do your loved ones a favor, especially if you have children, and get some help, bro. It ain't no shame in it. You know what I'm saying? So, the foundation of self-care. One of the first things that I had to learn about loving myself was that it wasn't selfish. It didn't make me selfish to love myself, to take care of myself. I was of the mind state that, no, love is what you give other people, right? And you give it to them, and you give it genuinely, and you give it purely, and then you get it back from those same people, you know? So, hold on one second, y'all. All right, just making sure my audio working. Everything's going smoothly. Cool. All right. But yes, I was of the belief that love was what you gave to everybody else. That if I invested in loving myself, that would make me selfish, right? And I'm going to go so far as to say that even though everybody has some selfish tendencies, I don't think it's most of our intentions to live a selfish life at the expense of everybody else, regardless of what. I just don't think we were created with that total lack of conscience, right? Most of us, we may have some selfish ways, but we're not necessarily trying to live our life without realizing that we have to be careful of how we treat other people. But if you don't know, and if you haven't been raised with a healthy self-esteem, or, you know, maybe you've gone through some trauma early in life, you don't necessarily have that thing that says it's okay to love me. You might not even know what there is to love about you. And I mean that, again, from personal experience, right? But as the caption says, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Nurturing your well-being is essential to effectively support others and fulfill your purpose. As a parent, if you don't love yourself, you're diminishing your ability to be the best parent to your own children you could be. You're not going to be in a position or condition to fully support the other people in your life that you love if you don't take care of yourself adequately. You know? And that's just a fact. That's just what it is. So, again, for me, I had to get to the place that I understood that this does not make me selfish to love myself. So if anybody out there listening to this, when you see this, if you're one of those people who has trouble loving yourself, I want to tell you, it doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you wrong, and it doesn't make you weak. Because not every one of us was taught how to love ourselves, right? But if you hear and you listen to this and you can recognize that this is an area in your life that you might need to tighten up on, then you are already taking the first step to doing something about it, which is acknowledging that it needs to be done, right? So to anybody watching this, I just want to say, man, you're not selfish to love yourself or to take care of yourself, to make time for yourself, to look after your well-being. It's not selfishness. It's a part of your survival. All right? Another thing is that loving yourself is deeply rooted in humility. One of the things that I really had to accept in learning how to love myself over the years was limitations, right? Some of those limitations that I had to face were a result of such things like just getting older, right? Having a family, having more responsibility. I didn't have the freedom to move about and just do what Mike wanted to do. But that still doesn't mean that I should have neglected myself. So we have to do a self-assessment. And we have to recognize that everyone has boundaries. Everything has a breaking point. We're not indestructible. We don't have unlimited energy and sustainability. We can become fatigued mentally. We don't always have the mental capacity to give our attention to things as fully as we may need to. That's not weakness. That's just limitations of being human, right? Strength comes in acknowledging those limitations. To acknowledge those limitations that you have as a flesh and blood human being is a sign of wisdom. That's not weakness. It takes courage to do that. If you're familiar with the serenity prayer, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But don't leave out the part that in that prayer that there are things you can't change. So that acknowledgement is a part of becoming wise. You know, it's not something that we should be ashamed of, to admit that we have limitations. Some people come up with learning disabilities, right? They have other kind of limitations. Does that mean that they should not try though? Nah, man. I don't know too many people with those type of so-called disabilities that don't still push and go hard. Sometimes they go even harder because of that limitation. That doesn't make them weak. They have to, though, acknowledge that they have a limitation. And all of us have limitations. All right? We got to know how to be balanced. You got to know when to push hard and when to pull back. Recently, within the last year or so, I've really just got to the point that I've understood that even as a hustler, a business owner, I can't push all the time. Especially now that I'm 46. I just don't have the energy. Back in the day, I could grind for 3 days straight and be fine at day number 4. You know? Maybe sleep a couple hours in between then. I could do that back then. I can't do that no more. So even in my business pursuits, I've had to accept that I have to allow myself adequate time to rest. But when I recognized that and admitted that to myself, guess what door that opened up for me? Then I realized that I was more effective when I did work because I was adequately rested. I didn't realize how pushing through exhaustion and all those things, I think I'm making progress. But then you go back and you find mistakes that you made, you skip steps. Like in software design, I go back and look at a code or look at a blueprint or something for the design. I'm like, what the fuck is that? That don't even make sense. I don't know why would I put that there? Because I was pushing so hard trying to get to this end goal. Right? That I made a lot of mistakes because my mind was exhausted. I wasn't letting myself rest well enough. So over the last year, I've learned the value of being balanced, knowing when to push, when to go hard, and when to pull back. So that when it is time to go hard again, you got the rest, the mental clarity to do that. That makes sense? So that's why it takes humility to learn how to care for ourselves adequately. Accept that we got limitations. You can't necessarily do things the way you did and at the pace that you did when you were in your 20s or teens, when you didn't have children, or when you just had one, or when you didn't have a marriage, or you didn't go through that traumatic experience, right? The scriptures also say that the spirit is eager, but the flesh is weak. That is a wise statement that was written, whether you believe in the Bible or whatever your thoughts are. You can't deny that sometimes your spirit be saying go, 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 but your body just might not be able to go, 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 because you need rest. You need to refuel yourself, right? So regardless of what your idea is about the Bible or spiritual concepts, it does not change the fact that human, fleshly, physical, biological organisms, animals included, plants included, need periods of rest. Everything in nature rests, right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But that takes us to have the right mindset that, hey, man, I ain't Superman, man. That's a fairy tale. In reality, I can only go but so hard because I'm human at the end of the day too, right? So that is another part of this acknowledgement and accepting our limitations. Again, self-care is not a weakness. It is a necessity. Recharging is required. Like I said, everything in nature rests. Even these devices we use, computers, cameras, cell phones, tablets, even these devices have to be recharged. And they're not even alive. They're not even living things, right? But they have to be recharged. Everything needs to be recharged. The deeper your roots, the more nourishment you need. That is the whole purpose for a plant pushing its roots deeper and wider. It's to be able to access the nutrients and the nourishment that it needs to grow into the biggest, strongest, best version of itself that that particular plant or tree can be. We're not that different as humans, right? The strength that we're able to go out here and face the world and face challenges with, that stuff comes from things that can't necessarily be seen about you. It may be the things that you do to take care of yourself that people don't see. But like those roots going deep, the more strength you need, the more energy, the more power you need to accomplish the things in your life that you do, the deeper those roots have to be when it comes to taking care of yourself, right? You got to be able to access what you need to gather that strength. So this is a necessity. Life is a marathon. Shout out Marathon Clothing. The marathon continues. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. But that is, to me, when I hear the marathon continues, to me that's what Nip was saying. That's what that means. It's a marathon, bro. It's not a sprint. It's not a 100-yard dash. It ain't how fast can you get to the end. It's how long can you run to get to the end. The marathon continues. You feel me? So with that in mind, taking care of yourself has never been a weakness. It's an absolute necessity. We burn out. We get exhausted. Sometimes you ever work so hard that you start to feel like you losing touch with reality a little bit, especially when it comes to this internet stuff. As somebody who deals with AI, web development, that kind of technology, right? I have to give myself breaks from that shit. I'm so serious because when I go too hard at it, I start to not only get mentally and physically exhausted, but what I'm capable of in reality starts to get a little bit blurred. So we have to take that time away to take care of ourselves. Looking at nature as an example, do you know that the reason that you have seasons is for nature to rest and recover? During spring, you have a time of emergence, right? Plants are sprouting, buds and blooms are popping up on fruit trees and things like that. Birds laying eggs, animals mating, springtime. Then summer comes along. By the time you get into summer, that family of blue jays out in that bush may have had 2 sets of eggs or whatever. But by the time summer comes along, they're not still eggs. Now you got some baby birds that are getting to that point where it's time for them to become birds. That plant that in the spring was just blooms on there, now those blooms are apples and oranges and things like that. So summertime is the time of expansion, right? But then when you get to fall is where you reap that harvest and things start to calm down. That plant, unless it's a plant that's designed to yield in the fall, and you do have some of those things, those vegetables and stuff. But for the most part, nature itself is slowing down. It's starting to shut down. It's not going from expansion back into another season of emergence. It's not doing that. Nature in the fall time is going into rest. And then comes winter time, and that's where your dormancy, your sleep, your rest comes into play. So even the seasons reflect that nature itself rests, right? That nature, in order to be balanced, in order to do what it is that nature does, has to have a period of rest. I live in Georgia. I grew up in Georgia, the peach state, as some of you may know, right? One thing about peaches, if you didn't grow up around peach trees that you may not know, is that when the spring comes around, in order for a peach tree to produce its maximum yield, its best quality of peaches, it needs a certain amount of cold weather below a certain temperature for a certain amount of time during the winter. Without that time, your peach trees will not yield as much as they do when they get that. All right, so even in the South, with our peaches, in order to have a nice full peach tree, we be hoping, okay, we need some cool weather to come through and sustain it just for enough so we can have some good yield on the peaches next spring, right? So this tells us that rest isn't about not performing. Rest is about preparation for performance, preparation for abundance, to be able to handle the yield, the abundance, the fruit that you produce from your efforts. That's what rest is about. Not doing, it's preparation. During that time of dormancy, that's development. Sometimes in life, as an entrepreneur, business owner, as people in general, but specifically when you work for yourself, you have to be careful that you don't start to confuse rest with inaction. Sometimes when you have to rest and everything rests on you getting stuff done, it's very easy to skip these things in your own well-being because inactivity feels like you're not accomplishing anything, right? But that time of rest and dormancy is for you to develop, to study, sharpen your skills, get prepared for that season of expansion, that season of abundance that you're planning for, right? You need to give yourself that time, that self-care. I hope y'all like my little peach comparison. when I was working on this outline, I had to include that in there because, like I said, I'm a Georgia boy, so that's something I'm very familiar with. I grew up, with peach trees in my backyard when I was a kid, so I know that that's something that's common knowledge to a lot of us in Georgia. So now, what if your winter season is preparing you for your most abundant harvest and you skip it? What if that moment that you thought this was the time to go extra hard was actually the moment that you were supposed to pull back, chill, and rest and prepare for what was coming? If you skip that step, do you think you're going to be able to handle what comes with the abundance? We have a term in our modern culture called fumbling the bag. You want to know how sometimes people fumble the bag? Because they weren't prepared for the abundance that came. They was prepared to handle $1,000. When it turned out to be 6 figures, they weren't prepared for it. And they fucked up. They fumbled the bag. Right? Literally. That happens in business. Happens in life. So what if, instead of looking at times when we need to be rest, less active, how about instead of looking at that as a bad thing, as not accomplishing, not doing, how about if we look at that as that's the opportunity that we get to prepare to unleash our best? Right? What if we use that time to cultivate and deepen the relationships that we're going to need to have in that period of abundance? Whether it be family, friends, business partners and associates, whoever it may be. What if we use that time instead to deepen those relationships? Would you still consider that inactivity on your goal or your objective? I doubt it, because you are making progress. You may not be pushing forward with the overall agenda, but you're building up that root system. You're making sure that you have enough roots and you grounded enough that when you produce that big old yield of peaches that you're preparing for, that your limbs don't break because they undernourished. Right? That you have enough leaves to be able to catch enough sunlight to nourish all those peaches. So all of them come out good. Right? And that's just a simple switch of our perspective of a situation. We probably all heard the statement, it's the glass half empty or it's the glass half full. This is a situation where that analogy or wherever it is would apply. How do you look at it? Instead of looking at a period of rest as a state of inactivity or not accomplishment, how about if we just look at it as a phase of preparation so that we can handle what it is we've been working so hard to accomplish or to be in our lives, Another thing when I was working on this, because of my personal experiences and a lot of conversations I've had with men over the years, especially my black brothers and sisters, whatever you consider yourself, if you're a black American, and particularly you, because I know we have shared experiences. As black men, we suffered hugely because of this. Whether it's, I'm not going to say toxic masculinity because I don't even know if I believe in that shit. I ain't even sure what that is. But I do know sometimes we become unbalanced, right? We got to be tough. We got to be hard. We're not allowed to show emotion. So we get real good at just hiding things and stuffing it way down deep inside and not addressing ourselves and not taking care of ourselves. Because a lot of times we live in a society and a system that tells you as a man you're weak if you have emotions. That's the silliest shit in the world. If we are made in our Father's image, in our Creator's image, in our spiritual mother's images, How in the fuck could we be weak for having something that they gave us in their own image? It's not weakness to experience emotions. Where the weakness comes in is if you are not able to control those emotions. But the feeling of emotions and having them is not anything to do with weakness, right? So we come up in a society and environment, especially as black men, where taking care of ourselves or loving ourselves may seem like weakness to us at times. And this has led to horrible consequences, y'all. Suicide. Men account for 75%. Not 75%. They have a higher suicide rate. 3/4 of all suicides are due to untreated mental health issues and an unwillingness to seek help. Because it's weakness to need to address my mental health. It's weakness to have a therapist. It's weakness to have a circle of brothers that you trust enough to bare your soul to. I got some stuff going at home with the wife, man. I'm really trying not to nut the fuck up about it. I got my brother, though. I not go over there and we can shoot pool. And if I got to shed a couple tears, I know my brother got my back. We don't need that. We ain't never had to be that brother or that friend to another dude. A lot of that comes because we don't get help when we dealing with things. We've been taught that that's weak. What's weaker? To deal with this and fall victim to this? Or to find a way to fix it and avoid it and overcome it? Which one is actually weaker? Right? We're 40% less likely to see doctors. Bro, I can't tell you the last time I went to a doctor. I don't really do doctors. But sometimes you have things going on that you ain't really qualified to address. If I got shot in the ribs right now, I don't care what size gun it was. If I got shot in the ribs right now, I ain't exactly qualified with how to fix myself in that situation. I don't know nothing about removing bullets. So I would be a fool to get shot in my ribs and think I can take care of that myself at the crib. Unless you just don't care about living, right? There are things that we deal with as individuals, but especially as men that are unique to us as men, that, bro, we just need people that know more about it sometimes, who could maybe be considered an expert in that area. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Remember, accepting our limitations, knowing that we have limitations, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. Because of things like this, it's one of the reasons that men have a shorter life expectancy. Because the pressures and the stresses that we go through as men, and again, I'm particularly talking about black men in America, it shortens our life expectancy. Not taking care of ourselves, not looking after ourselves adequately, properly. So this isn't just about buying yourself some new shoes or buying things that you want. No, man, this is about your quality of living. You have to take care of yourself for your quality of life and your ability to be a man, to provide for those that need you, to be the leader. You got to take care of yourself. You got to keep yourself in shape to even be able to do that, right? So that requires that as men, we got to realize it's okay and stop this over macho shit that we tend to get caught up in sometimes, bro. Whether, like I said, it's from cultural pressure. Sometimes as men, we know we can't even go to our wives about things and bear our emotions about it. For fear of being looked at as less than, for having emotions, for knowing what it feels like to be hurt or sad or experience loss, let alone like traumatic shit we might have been through in our lives. We don't even be comfortable enough to speak with our mates, a person you share a bed with, a person you took vows with, a person you created another life with. We bottle all that shit up in here and suffer in silence. And then going back to that other slide that we just looked at, the suicide rates, the mental health issues, the shorter life expectancy, chronic illnesses, literally killing ourselves to be strong and silent. That's bullshit. And as men, and again in particular to my brothers, my black brothers in America, whether you consider yourself FBA, ADO, whatever title you put on yourself, I'm talking to you especially. Man, we got to cut that shit out. That's not cool. The future generations need us. Our children's children need us. They need us to be here. They don't need to hear stories about their granddad. They don't need to look at pictures and that's all they know about their granddad. They need to know us. They need us. They need our wisdom, our tutelage. You feel me? So we got to be here. All this struggling, suffering in silence, thinking that makes you strong. Hey, man, be humble enough to admit we got limitations, bro. We not made out of vibranium. We can be hurt, and not just physically. And when you don't address a wound or a scar, even if it happened in your childhood, if you don't heal it, it don't go away. It keeps ruining your life. It follows you. It pops up in your life later in life, ruins relationships, hurt careers, end up in prison. So the sooner that we, as black men, accept that it's okay, it's not weak to need love, to need help, to need friendship, real friendship, support. You don't have to always be the support. Sometimes the support needs the fucking support. I have a question that I ask some of the women that have been in my life from time to time. Hey man, who saved the hero when the hero needs saved? How many times did Superman need saving and Lois Lane came through? Huh? What happens when the hero needs a hero? We ain't impervious. We're not indestructible. As men, we need those things. And I just feel like it's time for us to grow the fuck up and be okay with it. It don't make you less than. This is about being wise. You get me? No more struggling in the silence, y'all. So, that's more along the lines of our mental, emotional health. What about spiritually? Regardless of your religious affiliation or beliefs, all of us have a spiritual element to ourselves. And that spiritual element is necessary, and it also needs fine-tuning and nourishment and adjustment from time to time. To neglect that would be to neglect a part of ourselves. This isn't about what religion you believe in, if you even believe in one. This isn't about whether you believe there's a God or a creator or whatever. This ain't about that. This is about acknowledging your reality, that you have a spiritual element to yourself, and that it needs to be addressed. We're not purely biological, right? That spiritual side of us is where we get our drive, what causes us to seek purpose and meaning in life. That spiritual nature is what allows us to rise above selfishness and self-interest. Things that allow us to do for others, even though it has no personal benefit for us. That's from your spiritual side, right? The thing that loves beauty, the thing that loves loyalty in people, or the way you feel when you see a person that's just kind, that's just genuinely a solid motherfucker, man, genuinely a good dude or a good woman, like that really care about other people. That comes from that side of us, right? But again, it has limitations, because some of the things that we have limits in as biological beings, our spiritual element, our spiritual side doesn't have that. And sometimes that creates a conflict within us, that if we ignore that spiritual need, that spiritual side of us that all of us have, then we're creating a conflict. We're placing a limitation on ourselves that's going to prevent us from being the best version of ourselves. Does that make sense? So this ain't about a religion or any particular text or whether you believe in anything. This is about acknowledging yourself and what you need. And that aspect is undeniable. There are things that we do: prayer, meditation, reading books and things that we hold as sacred. And again, regardless of what you believe, I'm not here to talk about that. But most of us have some routine when it comes to engaging in some form of spiritual care and upkeep. Whether it be going to church, going to the mosque. It might just be hanging out with the homies at the park. That community. That's your spiritual need. That's why we clicked up the way we are. That's why you got so much love for this dude. It ain't just because you from the same place as him. Nah, there's a side of you that's kin, bro. That recognize this. This is my brother. This is part of my community. That's the spiritual aspect of us. And again, for us as black people, especially black men, that is how a lot of us got corrupted and got caught up in the shit that we did to ourselves and our community that has caused us so much damage. Is there was no spiritual nourishment to nourish that brotherhood between me and you. Between you and him or her. I'm going to tell you a real story. I believe I was in Atlanta. I think I was still living in Atlanta at the time. And I was at a restaurant. And I was chilling. I was in a good mood. I'm talking about I ain't had no issues. Nothing was going on for me to be concerned about, bro. It's just a cool ass, chill ass day, right? And then this another black guy walks in, like off from my right. And he walks through the door. And as soon as I looked over at him, I went from just cheerful in a good mood to ready. Right? But the difference was, this time it was so out the blue because I was so not on that kind of vibe that it caught my attention. Like, wait, the fuck am I? Why am I looking at that black man? Like, did I just judge him? And I thought about it and I was like, all that brother did was walk through the door. And I immediately went from the good mood that I was in, the grateful spirit that I was in, to being prepared to do something to a nigga who ain't even did nothing for me to be concerned about. Yo, what's up with that? And I realized it wasn't the first time that I emotionally, spiritually, physically reacted to another black man just coming in my presence. And when I thought about it, it just didn't make sense. But I had never actually slowed down enough to realize that I was doing that. Right? And that is a lot of what started my journey of learning how to love myself. Because that was like a mirror for me. I never saw myself as hating my brothers. But that showed me something. Nah, man, maybe you need to work on that. It was such a dramatic shift. It happened so quickly that it actually caught my attention. Like, whoa. And I started to look at myself differently. And I made a vow, bro, that I would look at my brothers as my brothers first. I would consciously make an effort to, when I see another black man, I'm going to see my brother first. And it took me a second to consciously train my mind to do that. But after a while, I lost that. It don't mean I ain't capable of protecting myself, but that extra aggression that was unnecessary and unwarranted to another black man, I had never really realized that I was carrying it around like that. And part of the key in me getting to the point of being able to truly love my brothers was when I started learning I had to love myself. Because if I love myself, it gets harder to do something against somebody that look like me, that's from where I'm from, that know what it's like to be me. Well, why would I want to hurt that person? That's my comrade, that's my ally. But I didn't realize that my lack of love for myself was leading me to respond to people, and it wasn't even warranted. And that was years ago. So since then, like, people that know me in my personal life will tell you, man, I'm like one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet. I really don't meet people and have a judgmental spirit to me. I'm not an aggressive dude, right? I have an aggressive side, but I'm not necessarily an aggressive dude. And if you meet me now, a lot of that is because I had to go through that journey, bro. When I meet people nowadays, especially my black brothers and my black sisters, I see a sister and a brother, man. I don't see no op no more. And I think it was Dr. Ben, if I'm not mistaken, the first time I heard the African proverb that says, when there are no enemies within, there are no enemies without, or something like that. When I start to conquer that thing, that enemy in me, which was not loving myself, not taking care of myself, when I conquered that enemy, guess what happened? I stopped seeing people that look like me and come from where I come from as an enemy. Now I genuinely start to see them as my brothers, my sisters. Then I started to want to get more active in my community. Right? I've done things in the past like mentor other people, and I've done things like that. Spoken at schools. I've done that before. But that was when that sense of purpose in me went to a whole nother level, because then I realized, hey man, I got a duty to my community. Yeah, I got a duty to my little brothers and sisters coming up behind me, man. Some of us have survived and overcame things that has given us the wisdom to know how to avoid certain traps in life. At that point, as they big brothers, they OGs or unks or whatever they call us. I don't like being called unk, by the way, y'all. Don't call me unk, please. But whatever you consider us from my generation, we got an obligation to them, bro. How we gonna look out the ones coming behind us if we don't even love them? If we look at them and see a op before we see a little brother or a young sister, right? So I'm on this part again. If you ever watch my content, you know I'm transparent, and I try to keep it as genuine as I possibly can without giving away too much personal information about my life necessarily. But this is real for me, bro. Like, that was a real thing. That was a real moment of recognition for me. And that moment motivated me to start looking at myself differently. And it made me have to heal myself in certain ways. So everything I'm talking about with self-care and self-love, this ain't coming from a dude that just put together a presentation and let AI make some graphics and stuff. Nah, man, I'm telling you about my real life, that the things that Michael Bernard Sanders had to address and deal with. The guy none of y'all probably know or have ever met. So that has led me all the way up to this point. It's part of why I do what I do with Legit Hustle. I have an obligation to them, the young ones coming up behind me. I have an obligation to my brothers and sisters and my elders and my ancestors. I have an obligation to lend whatever it is I can to the betterment of my community. If it ain't money, fine. What about your experiences? What's your life experiences? And all of us as men, especially black men, but we already know that. So I'm not finna sit here and act like I'm preaching to my brothers. I know y'all know that because we talk. Whether it's at the barbershop, at the pool hall, whatever, we chop it up. We know as black men that we have an obligation to our community. So for those of us who are actively involved in the betterment of our communities, salute to you. Keep on doing what you're doing. And for those of you who may feel like you can do better in that area, then I encourage you to do that because we have an obligation, y'all. You feel me? It's no reason for the generations coming behind us to fall victim to the same traps that some of us made it out of. There's no purpose for our younger brothers and sisters to still fall victim to the things that we saw ourselves and others fall victim to. Nah, man, we owe our people and our community, your city, your neighborhood, your country. We owe our community more than that, right? So if you feel like you can do better in that area, then my encouragement, my advice is you, by all means, brother, get active in your community, man. You feel me? So I ain't gonna go over this part too much. Like, you know, some of you may know, I give my presentations away for free. I don't necessarily go all the way completely through the presentations every time because I spend a lot of my time just talking about these subjects from a real genuine place, you know. But if you want to actually get into these things more in depth, you can just go to legithustle.com and actually grab this actual presentation. Of course, you won't have my handsome ass face up in the corner when you get it. You feel me? You're just gonna have a slideshow. But if you ask nicely, I'll take a screenshot. I'm just fucking with y'all. I'm fucking with y'all, man. You know what it is. But yeah, if you want it, man, you can get this presentation for free at legithustle.com. I'll try to pin the link in the comments once I get done with the live. Or you can just go to my YouTube channel and it's in the description. That's legit-hustle.com if you want to get this presentation and go over it a little more in depth than what I'm going to do here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this for me, man, since I've started going live, one of the things that I have loved about these moments, and I don't necessarily have a lot of views, it's not that, man. I feel like I get a chance to communicate and chop it up with my people, you know, and not even just limited to race or none of that. So just my people. If you vibe with this, if you fuck with what I'm talking about, then I'm talking about you, you know. So I be enjoying these moments, man. Like, I could just stick to the presentation and go through it, but that would be pretty boring, and that ain't really my style. So, you know, I'm very open about the topics that I talk about because I'm not trying to come off like I'm a guru and a know-it-all. I'm just your brother from another mother, Mr. Legit Hustle. You know what I'm saying? So, the 3 pillars of mental health. Mental health, when it comes down to our relationships, our career, our daily choices, our mental health is a key ingredient in all of those things. When our mental health is not at its peak, at its best, we do much worse at making decisions. We have to deal with anxiety, depression, a lot of other things that cause us to make poorer decisions. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, you know that you have to be at the top of your game for your company to function, for your team to keep being able to do what they're doing, right? As a parent, single parent, or a father in the household, as the head, the leader, you got to be able to make decisions and make the best decisions, especially when there are other people depending on you to do so, right? But if we don't address our mental health, if we don't address taking care of ourselves mentally, guess what we're going to do? We're going to handicap ourselves. And we're going to force ourselves to fall short of being that man or that woman that we want to be, that we know we could be, right? It hurts your relationships. If any of us have ever had any personal experience with people who are dealing with any type of mental health or emotional issues, I got to be careful on how I say this, so I make sure I say what it is that I'm trying to say. When you have to deal with people, when you're in a relationship with someone that has those kind of things going on, if that person is not realistic about the things that they have to face internally, it's pretty much impossible to have a healthy relationship. And that's not just about the other person. You might be the person. I might be the person that's bringing that into the relationship. And therefore, I'm the person, or you're the person, that's impossible to be in a healthy relationship with. Have you considered that? Instead of blaming other people for failed relationships, have we stopped and considered what was your mental health state like at that time? Did all those things happen just because you a bad person, or that guy's a bad person, or whatever the situation may be? Or was it other factors involved? But if we don't address these type of things, y'all, it is impossible to have any kind of real quality of life. It is absolutely imperative to all of us in this world, the way that it is at this point in time. You have to give love to yourself. You have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for your mental well-being. You have to. Because you're not guaranteed to get it from other people all the time when you need it. You don't want to destroy your relationships. You don't want to be unable to perform at the things that you need to perform in. Be it your job, be it your role in the family, be it your business, whatever. Not addressing your mental health has consequences for your physical health. Stress will kill you. Anxiety will kill you. Literally kill you. Why? When you can address these things and make sure that you don't fall victim to it. I can address them and make sure I don't fall victim to them. But that first requires me to even be aware of their presence, of their existence, right? So I'm actually going to stop right here. I'm a little bit more than halfway done with this presentation, right? But I do have a couple appointments. Meetings I got to be on in a little bit, and some other things to take care of here soon. So y'all know how I do, man. I get on here, I chop it up with y'all, I kick it. I hope you get some benefit from my analogies and my storytelling and, my transparency. And I hope that I'm providing something that's of genuine quality and benefit. So again, if you want to look at this a little bit deeper, just head to legithustle.com. It should be available within the next day or two, but all the other legit motivation presentations are already up there. So if you like this, man, like, share, subscribe, and rock out with me, And like I said, we're going to leave it right there. I started the show off with Tales of a Hustler 3. I won't let the cat out the bag about what that's actually about, but let's just say I got some real cool shit coming here in the real near future, man. I think y'all going to like. I think it's going to be cool. And yeah, man, we're going to have a lot of fun on Legit Hustle. And I hope you stay tuned, man. So if this is your first time watching, or if you've been rocking with me, it ain't like I got that many people doing it. But if you've been here for a second, if you one of the 3 people that be pulling up on my channel, you know what I'm saying? Keep doing so, man. I appreciate it. from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how much it means to me. I don't care if the video get 1 view or 1,000,000 views. It means the world to me. You know, as long as you get some real value for what I'm doing, then it's worth it. You know. So on that note, I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna play Tales of a Hustler 3 again, particularly because I really like it. It's my favorite song I've done so far. I've only been like recording music for about 3 years now. So, you know, it's more of a hobby. I love hip hop. I love music, rock, jazz. I love music, period. And so I started recording music about 3 years ago to promote a book that I had wrote. And I fell in love with writing and recording, and it became kind of like therapeutic for me. So I decided, when I decided to like really do the YouTube channel, I was going to use this as an outlet for my, you know, amateur ass rap music. So that's what I do it for, man. Hopefully you get some from it. I hope you enjoy it. I call it hip hop motivation or motivational hip hop. It's kind of like my own little way, you know, of using our culture and our music to benefit our people again, instead of being a detriment to it. You know, I could talk about street shit in music and be absolutely authentic about it. I could tell real street stories and be absolutely authentic about it. And I do hint at things, and I might drop some things in songs every now and then. But overall, my purpose for incorporating hip hop into my channel is to be a motivation to my people again. So that's what I do the music for, man. I ain't really, you see, I don't sell it, I don't stream it, I just put it up on my channel. So hopefully you like it, man. But this is one of my favorite songs I done did so far that we gonna close out with, and that's Tales of a Hustler 3. And I might play one more, man. But either way it go, man, I appreciate you being here. Shout out to everybody that checked this video out, man. I love you. It's your brother from another mother, Mr. Legit Hustle, man. And as soon as I cue this music up, we gonna get the hell on. Peace, man. Love you. And y'all know my motto. Hustle smarter, man.
Legit hustle. Legit hustle. Go get him, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, it's like take number 4 and shit like
Go get him, Uncle
that.
Mike.
Man, I'm just finna spit this shit. Try to keep in mind where I'm supposed to stop. It's gonna come out how it come out, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ever move at your pace, you change your time, space, and place. Disappear without a trace, reappear to show your face. Only time to time, cause the bottom line, you only got the time to make. Foot on the gas, don't touch the brake. Fuck if I crash, state to state. Most times blessings, that's your grace. Lots at stake, watch for mistakes. Treat obstacles like they steak. Heavyweight, then clean your plate. Even if you ate already, grown man shit gets heavy. War in the streets is really up, so lock and load and aim steady. You a hustler, time to prove it. You a gangster, who you move with. Better keep an extra toolkit. Pray to God to never use it. Just a clue for all the clues. Playing dumb, but don't be stupid. Like Steph Curry off the dribble. I don't even gotta look when I shoot it. Just a warning for the busters and an anthem for the hustlers. Next time you fold your bundles, just remember, hustle told you. Keep your drip right, yeah, that's Nova. Keep your coat as cold, that's polar. Put that hustle over your shoulder. Carry that bitch until it's over. Yeah, it's legit hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers only. If you out here grinding, pushing, getting it on your own, trying to build something for yourself and your family, I'm talking to you. Yeah. So what you took an L? Everybody fall down sometimes, man. Get up, shake that shit off. Keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You a hustler. If he gave up, it wasn't me, not in a hustler's pedigree. I knew the path that I had chosen wasn't free, nor should it be. A real leader's gonna stand up, give his friends a helping hand up. If he get one, then he got one. From the Lambo to the Phantom, only if it's just legit. All 366, he only swing for the fence. Legit hustlers never miss. Belt the ass, I got a list. Rub me wrong, you get your itch. Pop out, I hope you got a wish. Like the genie in this bitch. Hustlers and suck, never mix. Real is real, so don't forget. That is that and this is this. On the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? You dig? Yeah. That is that and this is this. It's on the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? Yeah, like I said, man, this legit hustle. Tales of a Hustler 3. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers, man. The go-getters. You know, people out there getting it on their own. Yeah. If that's you, welcome. Tales of a Hustler 3. Here's your homie, Legit Hustle. Yeah, man. Speaking for the hustlers, man. No matter where you came from, you can be from the streets, you can be Ivy League, you can be a stockbroker, man. You can be just a regular dude, man, selling fruit on the corner. I don't care, man. If you a hustler, you know you a hustler. It's in you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
In a world full of hunger, growing up on stomach pains, trying to make it over puddles and avoid the dirty stains of the streets where the rain drenches more than just your pain, and everything you have to lose is everything you have to gain. It's a battle for your mind, for your soul, for your time. Either stay down in the mud or jump back up, get on the grind, trying to catch up in a race when you started from behind. So removed from the lead that you can't even see the line. And the ones who say they love you, the same ones who hold their hand from extending you the kindness that you needed to withstand. The same ones walking blindly with contempt for fellow man. They don't lose a wink of sleep, even when they leave you stranded. Fuck them all, just in tall, never mind if you fall. Every hustler takes a L, without those you can't ball. It's a dirty, dirty dance, roll the dice, take that chance. Gotta tighten up your pants to stay a victim of circumstance. Opportunity comes at a glance, get to stepping like a band. If it's school, rap or dance, it don't matter, get your band to the sky up if it takes that to help you feel fly. Who am I to tell you not to when I'd rather see you try? It's a blackout to America, so I'm forced to make these choices. Ramen noodles or the bills while others riding in Rolls Royce. And then claim to be their leaders, whole time ignore their voices. Time to pay us what you owe us, they are just your first invoice. I suggest you pay them quickly, we are not that good at waiting. We have been too fucking patient, US government is Satan. And the victory was ours, you can quit the time wasting and the stalling, cause it's time Babylon should get to falling. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think by now we all know who the enemy is, right? And we all see who the enemy is, right? You know what I'm saying? Alright, sorry, it's not a person. Working next to the job. Probably ain't the person that lives down the street from you. Not to say it ain't some weirdos in all these places that need to get addressed, need to get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. We got a unique situation with my kid, when your kid, when they look back at our generation, what they gonna see? What they gonna see? A whole bunch of coulda, woulda, shoulda ass motherfuckers? Or they gonna look back and say, hey, I'm on my daddy's part of that generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I come from that. One more thing I forgot to mention, if you listen, I hope you listening. We cannot ignore our kitchen, cause it's full of dirty dishes. We need mothers to be mothers, so our children can be children. We need fathers to be fathers, lead them right and give them wisdom, so our dreams can be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Whether Muslim, Jew, or Christian, don't just talk it, you should live it. So I'm asking you, what would you do if on you this depended? For our dreams to be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Victory is all.
Yo, what's up? Greetings, everybody. This is Mike, aka Mr. Legit Hustle. Y'all know me, your homie, your brother from another mother. First and foremost, thank you for checking me out, for being here rocking with me. Could have been anywhere else on the internet, on YouTube, but you're here watching my content, so I just want to thank you. I also want to ask you something. Do you have a dream or goal that you feel driven to pursue? Or maybe you're like me and you're already deep in the pursuit of your dream or whatever that goal is, and you like a little motivation and direction in overcoming the challenges that you face. You know, sometimes we doubt ourselves. Sometimes we get afraid of failing. Or maybe you just need some inspiration from time to time. Well, I want to encourage you to never allow yourself to fall victim to discouragement. When you choose to pursue a goal or a dream in your life, know that you're going to get met with opposition and challenges. It just comes with the territory. But there's too much at stake for you to quit. And if you're like me, then you've come too far and through too much to ever give up on that dream or that goal. So, I want to invite you to grab one or two or all of my legit motivation presentations. You can watch the videos on my Legit Motivation podcast on my YouTube channel. And if you see one that you like, you can download the actual slide presentation that I developed and used in that video. That way, you can review the information in depth at your own pace. Now, each slide presentation is packed with factual, reputable, and verifiable information from reliable sources, as well as the game I've learned in 46 years on this realm. So head over to my Legit Motivation podcast on YouTube or go to legithustle.com. Presentations are free, but if you'd like to support the channel, then you can donate there as well. Whether you do or don't, the presentations are yours to keep. Plus, you'll get a special bonus offer on all of my products and services when you download your first presentation. So head over to legithustle.com or look for the link in the comment section of the video that you like. Alright? Again, thank you for rocking with me. Enjoy the rest of the show. Peace.